maybe we're going to see ESPN get a bit better. They made reported at least 5 firings yesterday behind the scenes, the executive level. And Burke Magnus, the one announcing the changes.
The one Pat McAfee loves.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he always talks about him.
ESPN announced the changes will allow the company to be, quote, more strategic, collaborative, and nimble as we continue to excel in every area and function. We remain committed to employee development, and the restructure will result in new positions or promotions for people who are expanding their responsibilities or taking on new challenges. All that to say, the perception is that they are getting away from the political discussion and turning more towards the path of sports. We've discussed this quite a bit. I thought, the hire of McAfee was down that path anyway, and they've stated, the rule that they don't want a ton of political talk, even though they don't, discipline those who bring things up. But this would be great for them. This is what the viewing audience wants. By and large, if it's not live sports, I'm not tuning in. And if they got back to that, if they got back to more of the SVP version of what that network puts on air, I think you get back the diehard fan that says, I don't need the opinion of someone that's against how I feel and wants to have an argument and hates me instead of wanting to have a discussion about things. But I can find that literally anywhere else. Give me my escape. Maybe this is more in line with that. But the way they've treated McAfee, you mentioned Burke Magnus, and that's one of McAfee's guys. I mean, they let this dude do whatever he wants. I mean, he can be belligerent on air in Ireland. The next morning, he's, how much is McAfee hung over?
Top of the morning to you.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
They can joke about it.
But you can also, have that, any type of discussion we want to have on other employees that can also get away with it.
Well,
Mina Kimes, we were talking about her last week. They don't say anything to her.
Let's dive into this a little bit. So I don't know what it says about ESPN's future or purpose because they had to do cost cuts.
Well, but it's 5, though,
that's
from the executive level.
Yes, well, great.
But you're replacing them with
somebody
a
at
different
Disney
direction.
Came in and said, get rid of some execs. The C-suite's too full. Kick some people out. There's some bloated salaries in there, and we got to get a little bit more nimble and economically in how we're doing it.
And they're going younger.
Here's the smart way to go if you're ESPN. And Disney. Disney's got everything. Disney can be political with Disney Plus if they want to. They are. With movies and shows they have. They can do politics. Okay, all these major conglomerates, they do a little bit of everything. It's very simple for Burke Magnus. You do sports at ESPN. We can get all these other, LGBTQ agendas into our cartoons at Disney Plus. We'll take care of that for you, Burke. You cover the sports. And here's how you get back to covering sports and appealing to the sports fan. Hire on-air personalities that want to do sports. That's simple. The people who get the most political, especially on the left, that I watch on ESPN, I truly question how much some of them really like sports. And how many of them just honestly say, hey, I'm pretty good on television. I went to college for this, to be on TV. Why not sports? That's an easy route to go. I can read a teleprompter. I can do this or that. I can talk about the NBA. But what they really want to do is talk about female reproductive rights on air. Or they want to talk about the upcoming election. Or Mina Kimes wants to endorse a Democratic candidate for mayor of Los Angeles or wherever the hell she was trying to promote a candidate. So just get away from that. Get people who are into sports that want to put on a good sports product, and you're going to be fine because that appeals to sports fans. McAfee and Herbstreit are criticized by some for being right-leaning because some things they say. Some things Kirk Herbstreit said on with Dan Dockich. Some things that Pat McAfee says or guests that he has on. But there's one thing I don't question about those guys. Those dudes love sports. Kirk Herbstreit loves college football. Kirk Herbstreit is an encyclopedia of college football history when he talks about the game. Pat McAfee's a sports guy. He wants to talk about sports. It's beautiful. There's a place for that. It was ESPN. Let's get back to it.
Well, I don't know if they're getting back to it, but they are referring to this as a reorganization. What they're going towards, though, is a younger and influenced audience. Because one of the top execs now, according to the Hollywood Reporter, is Mike McQuaid, 37-year ESPN vet. They're bringing him in, but then younger staff beneath him. But the new executive vice president of sports production is newly named executive vice president in that spot. Again, all studio shows. So this is the new name, and he's been there for a while. So again, there is talent on, the loyal talent of ESPN for the executive level. Not all of them are gone. They're getting promotions. So maybe it's not a reorganization is a way to phrase something however you want it to just, across the board umbrella. We'll see though, because for all of the, yes, McAfee and Herb Street love sports. So does Stephen A. Smith, and he's not voting, conservative, right? Like he's openly asking for Kamala Harris to speak so that he can endorse her.
I'm openly asking for her to speak too. I'd love to hear from her.
But you understand what I'm saying, like,
yeah.
But he's doing it in a manner that makes sense.
Well, I'm not saying that they all are like that.
I think Mina Kimes loves sports.
I'm saying most are that way. At least that's the sense I get from them. I don't.
But here's the thing, Chad. If you don't discipline anyone now, then you're allowing anyone to just spout off, and it becomes what you're trying to get away from. McAfee can literally say anything he wants to. So wouldn't Mina Kimes feel the same way?
I just think all of this is more about money.
Well,
I think that they have been told to get rid of talent to make way for those that can be more flexible. Here's an example. Sam Ponder's gone. I don't think because Sam Ponder talked about, men not being in women's sports. I think it's because Sam Ponder only did the NFL Countdown show and nothing else. And they can get Mike Greenberg to do 4 different jobs with a salary they're paying him, and that's more indisposable to ESPN than Sam Ponder.
Sure, but, they're also paying McAfee and negotiating now with Stephen A.
And they're going to pay them a ton.
And they cut whenever McAfee came in.
For sure.
And now they're preparing to pay Stephen
They're prepared to pay certain people, not all people.
Yeah,
the ESPN of 10 years ago
but how
paid
much money,
everyone.
How much money they're saving, though, is my question.
Well, it's in the grand scheme of Disney, pennies.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Not even a penny. But it still doesn't change the fact that shareholders and people with a stake in the company don't go in and do this all the time and say, hey, go cut these people and alter their lives because we need to see a better prospectus for next quarter.
Yeah.
So, that stuff happens everywhere. Yes, of course. Disney can't afford it if they wanted to, but the old ESPN, I'm talking ESPN of 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
I feel like they just paid people and put them in a sock drawer somewhere, and you never saw them again. I think they had $1 million a year people, $500,000 a year that maybe did a SportsCenter hit once a month. They just wanted to get everybody, and they paid everyone. That's no longer going to be the case. And they are going to have people who bring more, bigger on-air personalities, talent that can do more things. Like a Pat McAfee, like a Stephen A. Smith. One of the things he said in his negotiation was, I want to do more. I want to have a bigger NFL presence. With what ESPN does to the NFL, he knows where it's going.
And he also wants the YouTube presence, so he can do his own thing there, too.
He's smart. He knows where it's going, and he wants to be the guy.
First Take isn't political, though.
No.
Yeah, he's by and large, we react to what he says on his YouTube channel more so than anything else, because that's where he says whatever he wants to say, and he keeps his show. By the way, he can say whatever he wants to say on First Take. He keeps his show the way he wants to keep his show. It's his program, just like it's McAfee's program. And now Burke Magnus and others, they have a chance to restructure and move in a different direction. Will they? Well, Chad, I guess my overall thought is we thought they were with McAfee, and then we spent a week talking about Mina Kimes.
I don't.
That's my point.
I know the headline's going to say something about them doing away with politics. I don't think it has anything to do with politics. I think it has everything to do with cost cutting, and I don't know whether their stance is on politics, because now what was a double standard where people on the right got disciplined for saying things. Now that's not happening, at least. But people on the left aren't going to get disciplined either. So that's not a balance. That's not a tit for tat, so to speak. But it's at least an improvement that now anyone on either side seemingly can voice their opinion and not be disciplined. Other than Dan Orlovsky, who for whatever reason got an angry text or call from someone and decided to take down that post, which still baffles me as to why that would be the case. That's the only evidence we have of that really happening. And again, I'm talking of the last couple months. I know Bobby Barack has it well chronicled, everything that's happened over the years at ESPN and their double standard on those things. And it's all true. He's right about it. There is a double standard. I think they've gotten away from the double standard. I really don't know what their political stance is as much as
they had a policy that
some overlord from Disney came in and said, you need to get rid of this much money, do it however you want, and we will sparkle up that press release and tell everyone how we're reorganizing and getting more versatile for the next 5 years and going younger and doing all this. And I don't buy half of it.